Well, let's talk about social media. It's been dubbed the Hail Mary of small businesses everywhere, and yet a new survey finds owners simply aren't getting the bang for their social media bucks. 61% of owners say they aren't seeing any return on their investment despite spending an increased amount of time and money on the web. Joining me now, Jennifer Jolly, the tech lifestyle editor for Tekka.com, Karen Post, a small business owner and branding expert, and Susan Solovic, CEO of It's Your Business and named one of the top social media influencers by Cred.com. Susan, it's great to have you here, and you're the perfect guest for this. What's going on here? Do the small business owners have it wrong?
Well, actually, Jerry, this is just one survey, okay? So I would just basically say the business owners responding to this survey, they don't get social media. In fact, in this survey, it showed that they were using social media to acquire new customers and to get leads. That's counter to what social media is all about.
That's not what you're using it for, right?
No, it's about building relationships. In fact, Constant Contact did a similar survey, and they found the top reason small businesses are using social media to build visibility and also to connect and engage to their customers. And you know, Jerry, I'd have to say it's just the same as old-fashioned networking.
All right, okay.
Just on the internet.
Let's get some of the other people in here. Karen, to you. Now, you disagree with these small business owners because you have made a heck of a deal through social media. Tell us about that.
You know, I have. About 6 years ago, my small business actually earned a very large piece of business, almost $1 million from one single tweet. But now remember, Twitter, social media is not the magic wand. It's a tool, and it takes planning, and it takes proper usage, and it takes some patience. And it's not really an average of your efforts, but it's the single gem that turns into a big piece of business.
I'm not really good at that. Jennifer, so what are these small business operators doing wrong?
They're doing three main things wrong. They're speaking to people in ways that business folks speak to people, not in the ways that you have conversations. When businesses use Twitter, Facebook, any of the social media platforms, you have to start thinking of it like a cocktail dinner conversation. You have to talk about 10% of the time, listen about 90% of the time. It's about conversation. It is not about the hard sell. It is not about doing traditional marketing initiatives and hoping that people will buy things. Here's a novel concept. Instead of making them come and like you on Facebook, why don't you go and like them? Go to your customers and get to know what they want and need from you.
Participate in social media. You don't just put stuff out there and then hope people will come. It's a part of your marketing arsenal. So you integrate it with all of your marketing tools, and it's about building credibility and trust. Jerry, people do business with people they know and they trust.
Well,
they get to know you on social media.
That raises a question, because Karen, I think that, at least in my business, people respond to people who are people in social media. People who have dogs and houses and they're growing gardens. And so do you have to show more than just your business face?
You do. I mean, I think you've got to be relevant to your community, and you've got to have a community. A lot of people do social media and they have 10 followers and they wonder why it's not working. You know, I recommend to people, pick one channel and do it well. If it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, if it's LinkedIn, and don't let the guilt monster mess up a good day, because it will do that.
Guilt monster. So Jen, what's best? Facebook, Twitter? What? I mean, come on. One of them's got to be better than the others.
Well, it depends on who you are and what your actual needs are. But there are apps like Hootsuite or TweetDeck where you can plan and coordinate all of your social media at one time. You can write it on a Sunday, you can send it out on a Wednesday across LinkedIn, across Twitter. All across the, Facebook, YouTube. You also really, and we've hit on this, but you have to speak the language. You have to say, hey, you know what's cool, or you have to leave an inspirational quote. You have to know how this conversation is going.
And let me also add here, too, I think it's interesting that the Constant Contact survey and Intuit did a survey and found 82% and 86% respectively of small businesses prefer Facebook, whereas the Manta survey said they didn't like Facebook. So there's really something skewed here with the Manta survey.
Which do you think is best, though, for small business operators? Should it be Facebook? Should it be Twitter?
It depends on your industry and what you're trying to accomplish. You can't have, it's not one size fit all. But back to your point about being a human, being authentic. Well, I started out in news television, so one of the things my news director always said, it's 80% about the story, 20% about who you are. I have thousands of my best friends on Facebook, right? So I always let a sense of who I am a little bit. I talk about my dogs, I talk about my family, but mostly it's about business and it's about giving first. So I try to give my followers information that's going to be really helpful to them and their businesses, and then it comes back to me many times
Right.
over.
Well,
and
Gloria
let
had-
them talk about their dogs and their experiences.
Oh, some of the
Listen.
greatest feedback I get on Facebook is when I put a picture of my dog out there. I put one out yesterday with his ball, his tennis ball in his mouth. Everybody loves it.
Scared me there for a second. I didn't know where you're going, Susan. All right, guys, thanks so much. We got to wrap it. Thanks, Jennifer, Karen, and Susan. Really interesting. I think that's useful to people out there who have small businesses. Thank you so much.